Hello, Ben again, back with another video. Now, in this video today, I want to break down high ticket sales to you. Now, you've probably seen it online. Maybe you're actually interested in starting sales, getting into the online high ticket sales space, and you want to know more about it. Because the truth is, you've probably seen a lot of stuff online of people selling you the dream, telling you you're going to make 10K in the next 90 days, guaranteed, and that you're going to be able to sit on a beach in Bali, work 2 hours a day, and make 10K per month. But the truth is, that's not how it works. One bit of advice I would give you as someone who's been in the online space for a long time now, coming up to 3 years, I've started multiple businesses. A lot of them have failed. I've started drop shipping, I've done Amazon, I've done sales, I've done so many different things, I've done so many different courses. The advice I would give is that anything worthwhile having takes effort. There is no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. Everything requires time, effort, and energy. I didn't get to a point where I was making 15K per month from sales by working 2 hours a day. That's not how it works. You have to put in time, effort, and energy. It takes effort. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, right? Accept that that's going to be the reality. You're not going to make 10K by putting in 2 hours a day, right? But that being said, sales, fundamentally, what is high ticket sales? All you're doing is you are taking sales off the business owner's hands. So these online businesses, whether that's coaching, consulting, marketing agencies, anything, right? And they work online. When they get to a point where they've got enough money coming into the business, enough new customers, maybe they're bringing in an extra 20 to 30 customers a month, right? They don't have time to take these sales calls, right? You've got hundreds of people a month who are interested in buying the service of the business. This business owner, not only does he have to take the sales calls, but he then has to actually do the fulfillment of the business, right? Imagine you have a fitness coach. This fitness coach, people are paying him 5K a month, 5K for them to coach them fitness, right? Imagine this fitness coach is taking 20 sales calls a day and then has to coach the clients as well. It's not feasible, it's not possible. So when it gets to that point, he hires sales reps. And that's where people like myself, or maybe you, if you're actually going to get into this, come in, and that's what your job is. You will take sales calls with pre-qualified interested leads, right, who are interested in the fitness service. Let's use this as an example. You will speak with them, and then you will then sell them the package on behalf of the business owner. That package may be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10K. Let's say it's 10K, you close the deal for 10K, you will get 10% commission, maybe 15, but most likely 10. So you'll make £1,000 or $1,000 for that sale. So that's fundamentally what high ticket sales is. Now, would I recommend it to you? All I'll say to you is expect the first 3 to 6 months to suck. Expect them to be really, really hard. If you're getting into this, realize the first 3 months are going to be effort, energy, things are going to go wrong. You're not going to make as much money as you want. You're probably not going to make any money for the first month to 2 months. And accepting that that's the reality and that's what's going to happen. The biggest thing that happens in this space is people will come in, they buy a course from a guru, right, who is selling them coaching, right? But the guru sets the expectations way too high. So they tell them, right, you're going to make 10K in the next 90 days. They come in expecting to make 10K in the next 90 days. When your expectations are really high and it's fucking comes in and you're not making that amount of money, that's when people give up. That's when things go wrong, which is why 90% of people who come into sales within the first 3 months have quit, because the expectations were set so high and then they didn't meet those expectations in that time frame, which then meant, right, I haven't hit 10K in 3 months. I must be doing something wrong. This must be a load of bullshit. This must be a scam. This must not be possible. They quit and then they're done. The truth is, this is real. These businesses online, there's hundreds of thousands of them that are making this money and they need sales reps. It's real. This isn't some like trading bullshit. Like, this is actually real. The sales roles, there are people making 10 to 50K per month closing on these sales roles. You just need to get yourself onto the roles. But don't come in with these expectations, because that's where things go wrong. And that's what I've seen after being in the space now for like 2.5 years, is people come in with really, really high expectations. Things don't go how they planned and then they quit. Whilst I always set expectations with people that it's on you for starters, right? You can have a coach, someone who gives you the roadmap, but if you don't put in the time and the effort, then you're not going to get there, right? Take full accountability and go, yeah, I'm going to have to put in this time and this work. Now, what does the work actually look like? You're probably interested, like, okay, so how do you actually get to 10K per month for sales? So the thing I do like about sales is it is quite simple. There's two things. There's learning the skill and there's landing a job. You can have the best skill in the world and you can be the best sales rep in the world, but if you don't have the right offer or job, right, to work on, then you're not going to make the money you want to make. And it's vice versa the same. You can be on the best job with the most potential and opportunity to make money, but if you don't have the sales skill, then you won't make any money. So both of these work hand in hand. What's more important? People argue, people say the job's better, some people say the skill. In my opinion, once your skill set's at a certain level, it's all about the job. Because you can have a business that's making 50K per month and you can be an insane sales rep, but because the business is only making 50K per month, you're only going to make 5K maximum per month. Whilst if you're working for a business that's doing $1 million a month, that means there's 100K in commission up for grabs every month with you and other sales reps. There's 100K there ready to be taken. So if you're good, and you don't even need to be insane, but if you put in the work and you get to a good level, then you can snatch up a lot of that 100K, right? That money's there ready to go. So I would say to begin with, of course, you need to get your skill set so as to a certain point where you're good and you can take sales calls confidently and you're not shit. But after that, then it's all about the offer. It's all about being on the right job that has enough money coming in every single month for you to make the money you want to make. You know, if a business is doing $1 million a month, there is a lot of opportunity to make a lot of money, right? And for me, where I started working on the shit jobs. I was working for a company that wasn't running any ads. They were barely making any money. And I got good experience from that for sure. But then I realized I'm going to have to jump ship. I'm going to have to get onto an offer that's doing better. So my first real good offer was an e-commerce coaching offer. And they were doing about 300 to 400K per month. I was one of probably 6 or 7 sales reps on that team. Up there, I managed to get up to £5,000 per month in commissions when I was there. And then again, I realized, okay, I need to get onto something better now. So what I did then, I then transitioned to another offer. Now this offer was actually doing less money. It was doing like 200K a month, but I was one of 2 sales reps. So I was getting way more calls. I was the best closer on the team, which meant I could then collect 15K in commission in a single month on that job. It allowed me to do that. So it's a mixture of both, but the offer is so important. Now, who would I say sales isn't for? I would say it's definitely not for someone who, one, is expecting an insane return straight away, right? So definitely, again, like I said, expectations super important. I also wouldn't say it's for someone who struggles to speak with people. If you're someone who naturally gets quite nervous or they get quite uncomfortable in social situations, I wouldn't recommend it, because you are going to be speaking with people all the time. You're speaking on the phone, you're speaking on Zoom to strangers, basically, and selling to strangers. Now, of course, these strangers are interested in what you're selling, which is the good thing. You know, you're not cold calling or anything, but you're still going to have to speak to them. You're still going to have to sell to them. So you have to have a certain level of ability to connect with people and ability to hold yourself to be able to sell these packages. You know, I sold packages for 10K where I would speak with someone on the call for 45 minutes and they would pay me 10K. They have to believe in you. They have to trust you enough for them to pay. And if you're someone who's very uncomfortable and very on edge all the time and can't hold a good conversation with someone, then you're going to struggle. Now, who is it for? Now, I've coached a lot of reps. I've coached over 30 reps now, one-on-one with myself. I've also managed sales teams as well. And from my experience, the guys who come in and do really well are a lot of the time they're athletes, right? They're athletes who have played in sport before, they've been part of teams, right? They then come into sales and they do really well because they understand in order to get really good and to get good results, you have to put in time and effort and energy. You have to treat it like a sport. You have to treat sales like a sport. That's doing practices, that's reviewing your calls, that's doing what needs to be done to improve. And the reason why athletes do really well is because they've already got this in them. You know, I used to play a lot of sport when I was younger. I played rugby, I played football to a pretty decent level. And I already had that consistency, competitiveness, ability to work in a team. That was already in me through sport. So I then came into sales and smashed it out of the park. And then I realized it's not just me. It's so many other athletes come in and do really, really well. So that is definitely who it is for, someone like that. If you're someone who already works in sales, if you work in recruitment or you work in corporate sales, then this is a great avenue for you. You already have a decent level of skill. You're just taking your skill and putting it into a better environment where you can make more money. In recruitment, you may get a base salary of 2-3K and you may get an extra 500 in commission at the end of the month, maybe 1,000. So you're making 3K a month, but you're still working 8 hours a day, maybe even 9. You're commuting to work. Sales is higher leverage, right? High ticket sales. If you get onto a job, you will have booked calls on your calendar. So you wake up every day and you'll see, okay, I've got 7 calls on my calendar. I'm selling a 5K package. If I close 2 of those seven calls, which is pretty bad. I mean, you should be closing 3 really. then you're going to make, if it's a 5K package, you're going to make $500 per close. You're then going to make 1.5K in commission in a single day. So it's higher leverage. But then again, that comes with downsides. You can go for a couple of days or maybe even a week where you don't close any deals. And then the next week you may close loads of deals and you may collect 2-3K in commission in a single week. So there's ups and downs. And that's another thing. If you're someone who doesn't like the uncertainty, then this is not for you, because there is going to be ups and downs. The first few months, as I said, you're not going to make any money really, probably, right? You can, but it's unlikely you are. So you need to buy into that uncertainty and go, yeah, look, I realize it's one of these things where I put in time now and then I get a return. You see nothing, you see nothing, you see nothing, then bang, you see so much. You see a great return, you make a load of money. That's just how it works. My first 3 months, I made £150. £150. I put in well over 100 hours of work. I was getting paid 15p an hour. But it was so worth it, because then once things started to work, then I was making £5,000, then I was making £10,000 in a single month. Something I never would have been able to do if I was working a 9-to-5 job, right? So it's the ability to endure uncertainty and then things click. But if you're not very good at that uncertainty and you always need that stability, then this isn't for you, because you do need to have that phase at the beginning where things aren't going well and you're eating shit and it's not working, right? Because that will happen. But again, it's all about the expectations. If you go in expecting that to happen, you'll be fine. If you go in with a long-term vision, then you'll be completely fine. You know, I've seen people go from 0 to 10K per month in 3 months. I've seen people go 0 to 10K per month in 6 months. It took me 9 months. It's like, are you willing to give up 6 months of effort to have a skill that can make you 10K per month consistently? And on paper, that sounds great, of course. Yeah, of course I'm going to give up 6 months of my time and my effort and my energy to make 10K per month consistently. But you'd be surprised the amount of people who give up. You think you will, but you actually won't, right? You actually won't. And that's where it comes into play. That's where you really see who wants it bad enough. And that's something else I would say, is know what you want. Have your goals in mind. Have the things you're striving for. Because if you come into this half-assing it, thinking, yeah, you know, I'll make a bit of money, I'll do it on the side of my job, I'll be fine, then you're not going to make any money. You have to be committed to this. You have to be really willing to give this everything that you've got. Because if you don't, then you'll get average results. Average effort gets average results. A lot of effort gets great results. As with anything, sales is no different to anything else, whether that's in the gym, sport, learning, academics, anything. If you want a good result, you have to put in a lot of effort, time and energy. And that's what I've seen. Of course, you can have natural salespeople, people who are naturally better. Like I said, athletes are better. But if you come in and you put in the work, then you'll do great. I've worked with a guy called Shiraz who barely even speaks. He did speak, he speaks good English now, but when we started to working together, he didn't speak great English, right? He did not give up. He's worked incredibly hard, right? No excuses made. And within 3 to 4 months, he then got onto a job and was making like over a K in a week, which for him, he's from South Africa, is incredible money. And he's only going to get better and better. And he is a pure example of someone who started with worse conditions, but has just worked his arse off and now is doing better, right? So there's no excuses. You can do well in this. You have no excuses. This industry can make you a lot of money, but you have to be committed and you have to go all in. And that is something that you need to tell yourself. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to give this everything that I've got. You may be working a 9 to 5, but when you get home from work, it's putting in the hours, it's putting in what needs to be done outside of work to then allow you to leave your job. And that's what I would say. And that is really what you need to consider if you're going to get into this. Don't expect this to be easy. Don't expect to come into this and make 10K in the first 2 months. That's not how it works. It takes time, effort, and consistency to get to a point where you can make great money, right? But this industry will change your life. It's completely changed my life. Where was my trajectory? I was heading to Leeds University to do business and the environment degree, which would have got me a corporate job where I maybe would be making between 2 to 3K per month if I was lucky at this point, right? I wouldn't even have left uni by now. I'd be in my last year, right? But instead, I learnt a skill that allowed me to make $15,000 in a single month at the age of 21. Where else can you do that? That's almost unheard of with anything else. So realize, of course, there's downsides, but there's a lot of upsides. There's a lot of potential. And if you're someone who is willing to put in that work, your life will change. I've traveled to 8 countries this year. 8. I've got 1 more coming up as well. I'm going to travel to 9, maybe even 10 countries by the end of 2025. I'm 22. No other 22-year-old can do that. But I didn't get here by luck. I got here by putting in a lot of time and effort and energy, a lot of work. I got it by taking risks. I got it by putting money into things where it wasn't 100% guaranteed. But that's what it takes. This is what it takes to succeed. You have to put in that work. You have to take risks. You have to put money into things. You have to embrace uncertainty. Because if you're not willing to do that, then don't get into sales. Do not do this. Don't get into it. Stick with your 9-to-5 job. Stay there. Live a decent life. Make decent money. But if you want the outsized return, if you want to be able to travel wherever you want, make a shit ton of money, give back to your family. Like I gave back to my family this year. I took my mum away to Norway for 5 days, all paid for by me. If you want to be able to do those things and help your family with things like that and achieve great things, then you're going to need to do something like this and you're going to have to take some risks. But again, like I said, right at the beginning of this video, nothing comes easy. Expect it to be hard. If you want great return, you have to put in a great amount of effort. And that's no different with sales. So hopefully this was useful. Again, don't fall for the marketing bullshit. This takes effort and it takes time. But in the same breath, if you're willing to put that time and effort in, your life will completely change with this, like mine has. And I wish you the best of luck with it. If you want any advice on this, like I said, I've been in this space a long, long time. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. If you want free advice, you can just message me on Instagram. I'll ping you some voice notes if you have any questions about it, if you have any questions about my journey. Again, the more I can help people, the better. So if you do have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, hopefully that was useful. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.